driver off the deck for Corey Connors.
Here's driver off the deck for Victor Hovland.
So the driver off the deck. I know you would try this, right?
Oh my, what a shot.
Just to be able to hit it off the deck and get that thing down and fly it and running.
You have to put your foot on the gas. You pull out the driver off the deck and you put it on the green all the way up the hill.
I'm Josh Decker, and this is Off the Deck, where the game is just the beginning. Welcome back to Off the Deck. Today's episode is going to be a little different. Normally we talk about people and golf and how golf has impacted their lives, but today we're going to reflect on a couple recent golf trips with a few friends. There were good shots, bad shots, and even tequila shots. There were laughs, arguments about handicaps, and we're pretty sure there's one course that may not let us back on. So today we're going to relive all of that. Thanks for tuning in to Off the Deck. Guys, I'm thrilled to have you both on to talk about our recent adventures across the country to see some pretty fantastic golf courses. Kyle, thank you for joining. AJ, thank you for joining. Just so our listeners know, you might also hear them referred to as Shooter and as Poppy and as the Dodfather. There's actually something beautiful about the fact that AJ refers to himself as the Dodfather, and he is now on Off the Deck. Boys, so over the past couple months, we hit up Landmand, Lost Rail, Number 10, and the Cradle, and Tot Hill. I want to start with just overall, like, initial reaction. I mentioned those four courses. What's the first thing that pops in your head?
Just big. Landmand is so big.
Yeah.
It's just like the way that it just takes over. Like you can't see more than a couple holes anywhere you look. Just like the arena of Landmand is just big. I mean, that's my biggest takeaway for sure.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that, Kyle. I think, Landmand being, it really felt like, and me, and the three of us played together a good bit out there. And when we got out there, the starter on the first hole pointed us over to what felt like 10 miles away. He's like, by the way, that's the, 14th, 15th hole, whatever it was. And I was like, there's no chance that's in the same zip code. I mean, truly just so vast. I mean, unbelievable in regards to Landmand specifically. Truly being the one that probably stood out the most. 10 is a close second for me at Pinehurst. Just an incredible day. Little wet, but didn't affect how much fun we had. I can tell you that much.
So I love that you both mentioned Landmand. We had some travel issues getting in there. We were potentially going to play Dakota Dunes. Some of us went ahead and went to Landmand. Tell me about the adventure that the two of you went on that evening instead of playing Dakota Dunes.
Yeah. So, wow, that was really special. I mean, Kyle, you want to go here?
Yeah, we were just leaving Dakota Dunes, headed back. I don't know what we were driving. I think we went through like 3 states to get there. I just found out this place was in Iowa last week when I was looking at the ball mark that we got there. But we were just driving. All of a sudden, we see this sign for a casino, and Pops just says, "Let's go." So we literally turned the car. It's a recurring theme here. Turned the car and did like a U-turn and went right back to the casino. And the three of us with Winnie all just went to the casino for a little while, and we left a little bit of souvenirs, maybe a little bit more, but I've been playing with this poker chip, $1 poker chip, ever since we left that place. That's like a little memo from there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was very funny because we had all traveled. We all kind of had different travel days. Long story short, I had, I was in Los Angeles, California that morning at like 1:30. I had to get to LAX at like 3 a.m. And then the plan was that we were all going to land within 30 minutes. That didn't happen because you boys got delayed. And so, when we landed, I took a quick nap, and then we were kind of all or especially me, I was in this kind of weird state of mind of, I don't know, do we get to Landmand? Do we not get to Landmand? What do we do? We passed this exit and we were like, yeah, we should probably turn around. So we turned around, we had a bit of fun. It was a really good time. And shout out Sioux City, which, to be fair, me and Kyle both thought was in South Dakota. And
100% did. 100%.
Until probably a week and a half ago, honestly, he texted me out of the blue and said, "Did you know Sioux City was in Iowa?" And I said,
No clue.
no, I had no idea. Because at that point, for me personally, I had a layover from LAX to Phoenix to Omaha. I had been in like 7 states in 24 hours, hadn't slept in 40. My brain's, really not on. And we kept weaving through. The interesting thing about the Omaha airport is you land in Omaha, and then I had to go because I was so early. I met another gentleman that was on our trip, which was a 6-minute drive in a rental car, and I went Nebraska, Iowa, Nebraska again in 6 minutes. Everything is just right there. It was really crazy.
Yeah, and so I guess there were 8 of us that had already gotten to the cabins and were checking in at Landmand. Some of us went and chipped and putted. We tried to get out on the course, but they wouldn't let us do that. So then you guys arrive straight from the Hard Rock, and you all have on matching T-shirts. And I feel like that kind of set the tone for the whole trip. We did have kind of a Ryder Cup-type setup for the 36 holes we had at Landmand the next day. And you two were an unstoppable force. It was like P. Reed and Jordan Spieth back in the good old days. Tell me about the vibes that day. We don't have to name names about who you competed against because some people are still recovering from those beatdowns. But tell me about just what you thought about playing Landmand, experiencing it that day. Like I said, the vibes with your group were through the roof, which was fun. As the captain, was a blast to be getting the updates as we were playing.
Yeah, I think I think what was really fun about Landmand, and we played. Remind me, Kyle, we played 1 tee up. Is that correct?
Yeah,
we played 1 tee up because none of us wanted with the wind blowing, a 75 plus 100 test. I'm not that guy, pal. I'll tell you that much. So Kyle and I, both. I'll take that back. I don't hit the ball that far. Kyle can speak for.
I thought you were going to take back and say, I am that guy. Let me back up.
Kyle can speak for himself, but not a long hitter. And so, it was a lot of fun getting out there, playing with Kyle. We played mod alternate shot, both taking a tee ball off the first, or off every hole, and then playing mod from there. And it was really an unbelievable time. I guess, first round we played just our own ball, best ball, but it was truly an unbelievable experience. I mean, the par threes, I can think of one par 3 towards the back, more like 15, 16, not great with numbers in general, but especially with golf courses related. And, I think that was the only par 3 I didn't hit driver on because the wind was in. The best shot of the day, Kyle, if you remember, was that par 3 with that green that felt like it was a mile by a mile. And it was that back right pin, and I hit a driver, not great, to be honest. And it kind of just cut up in the wind, landed on a hill. And it was like 220 plus, 4 clubs of wind. It was an unbelievable experience, but Kyle and I just vibed all day, and played some good golf. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, Kyle.
I mean, 100%. I mean, like you said, we're not going to beat you with the distance. We're going to beat you with the vibes, the consistency. And after the first round, Bobby just went off. And then after that, I kind of went off and I looked at him and I just looked at him and said, it's my turn. Because that's the way it goes with us. It's just back and forth the whole day. And some people can keep up and some people can't. I don't know what to say. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So when we play together, it's just things happen that normally shouldn't happen. We just somehow make it happen. And
undefeated in the daylight, right? Undefeated in the daylight.
Undefeated in the sunlight.
The sunlight.
Daylight.
I think I recall I got a text from one of you because we had our little group chat for our team, and all it said was, we just dog walked them. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's that. And then where were y'all on the course when that biblical storm came in? Were y'all done, or were y'all still out on
We
property?
had another, so we had finished our, Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we had finished our 18, right?
Yeah, we finished the all shot match.
We finished the all shot match, which is 9 holes.
Yeah, because we won early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was already over.
Yeah. So 19 through 27 or whatever it was, we had finished. And then we started a new match, and we get down there. There's a bunch of guys down there, and I believe it was you, Decker, and somebody else were like, y'all get out, go, because we had some guys not from our group behind us, and we want to be respectful of the golf course.
Yeah.
And y'all were like, go. And so we had 9 holes after that. I believe we gave 4 shots in those 9 holes. We gave up 4 shots in those 9 holes, Kyle, and we'll leave names out of this, of course. Next thing you know, we're through 3 holes. We're up 3, and we look up in the sky. And what's so wild about Landmand, if you've never been there, is we're on the golf course. We're looking back into what I would call the city, just being an Atlanta guy, but looking back over a hill, over just these rolling hills, so beautiful. And we see this storm. And for those that don't know, Kyle is known as a bit of a weatherman. Our favorite little 9-holer. He'll text me and be like, I'm not sure that the weather is going to hold out. Listen, you're wild, man. Weather's fine. Relax. I'll see you there in 2 hours. So
It's true.
it's I don't know, 5-10 miles out. It's kind of like when you're on the beach and you see a boat and you look at your buddy and you're like, what do you think? That's a mile out? And it's really like 8 miles out, and we're like, we don't know how long it's going to get till it gets here. So we're up 3 through 3. It starts coming.
Whoa! We're calling a full there. So we're up 3 through 3.
3 through 3. That's correct. And I forgot the format. I believe we were still playing mod all, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we
mod all.
yeah.
And so we get to 4, and it starts to sprinkle a little bit, but the black cloud is still way out. Feels like it's still way out there. And so then we get to the next hole, and we're like, well, let's just win it so that nobody can say anything. Let's just take care of it, go 5 and 4. And so, naturally, that's what we did. And went 5 through 4. And I mean, we were on another level that day. We played really good golf. The only thing me and Kyle have talked about looking back is, what if we had played golf good at the same time all the time? That would have been really fun, because it was truly the first 9 holes. Kyle was, kind of not his normal game. And then the next 9 holes, I kind of faltered, and he was playing really well. So it was very much brother-in-law golf, not necessarily so much, we both have a birdie look every hole. It's more like, hey, I'm going to caddy you this hole and we'll get it done.
Which, and AJ, I have to give you a ton of credit. You, the trash talking began early and occurred often when the groups were announced. And my friend, you followed through. You guys were my Spieth and P. Reed. So as the winning captain, I very much appreciate your efforts at the 7-Eleven Invitational. Now, we can't close the chapter on Landmand without talking about whatever the name of that bar was that we all ended up at in downtown Homer, Nebraska. Do either of you recall the name of it?
I know Bonanza.
Okay, Bonanza. Bonanza was special, so if you're ever at Landmand, make sure to go to Bonanza, try and meet the owner. His initials are wildly inappropriate, and we will not refer to them on this podcast. We don't want to be canceled. But then there's one more little tidbit of the beauty of Landmand and everything that is in their pro shop. One of the gentlemen joining us this evening needed extra luggage in order to pack all of his purchases from Landmand. So will the guilty party please tell us that story?
Yes. So guilty. I had bought a bunch of stuff. Thankfully, I would say 80% of it was paid for by, people writing checks that they could not cash against me and Kyle. I'll say that. And so I realized we had our first night, we got in, that we had already talked about, and then we played, and we had our second night, and the storm had come through like we had mentioned. And then I was looking at this bag, and so this awesome bag, Flag Bag Golf, not sponsored, could be potentially one day, but not sponsored yet, makes bags out of flags, exactly like it says. And Landmand has wind socks. If you've never seen it, you should look it up. You're listening. And it has these wind socks that they make, and the on top, right next to what they call up top, which is the clubhouse, they have this giant windsock. I have no idea how to tell you how big it is. I would bet it's probably circumference wise 30 feet by maybe 80 feet, something like that. It's huge.
It's large.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. And so every year they take that and then they make merch out of it, which shout out to Landmand, brilliant idea. And so they make incredible merch out of it. They've made head covers. Shout out Willie Wilson. Gonna steal that from you one day if you're listening. I mean, just an unbelievable head cover, but they sell out super quick, and then they auction off their own head covers every year. They get them remade. And so I bought this duffel bag that was made out of the Landmand, the giant Landmand windsock, because, you know, I had to get home with some merch. I didn't have any more room.
Right.
Merch. Didn't have any more room. Was on a 10-day road trip. And, you know, we had to buy a bag. I was thinking about just, you know, stuffing it in a backpack. And I was like, man, that's really good looking. So we're headed out the next day to go play another course, which we'll talk about. And I looked at Kyle and I was like, I'm going to be really upset if I don't buy that bag. And so I went in, bought that bag. Ever since then, Kyle texts me about it, I don't know, twice a week. Very upset that he did not buy the bag.
It's true. I had no idea it was the windsock until
Yeah,
Josh
that's
told us. I had no clue.
I went in looking for the head cover that, like you said, they sell out so fast. And was really bummed that I didn't have it. I actually picked up that duffel bag, but I've gotten through other events and others. I'm luggaged out, but I didn't need, like, it was a necessity for you, not a want. Yeah. But yeah, Landmand was special. And then leading up to Landmand, AJ, you texted me and you're like, hey, I'm on the phone with the architect of this like incredible new course in Omaha. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, look up Lost Rail. So you ended up on the phone with, oh yeah, we love the shirt. We love a great logo. So we left Landmand the next morning and drove about an hour and 20 minutes more back into Omaha to play Lost Rail, which special place. Now that I'm mentioning it, even like after my notes, I'm thinking about other things that occurred that day that may or may not need to be mentioned on this podcast. But Lost Rail was cool. Very, very cool. So initial reactions to when we pulled up to that place, albeit on the gravel road that we were on. Talk about that experience,
Kyle.
Well, we were with our good friend, Mr. Willie Robbins, and you know, you never know what he's going to say. The man's been all over the world seeing all these things, and he takes one look over in this field and he just goes, "Oh gosh, guys, it's pure." And that's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, it's just pure. It's so good. Like the whole theming of like the rail is awesome. There's that one par 3 with the train tracks coming in. I mean, it's an unbelievable spot. It's pretty sick. It's kind of like a new sick. You know, it's not like got the old feel. You can tell it's new, but there's nothing wrong with that when you're going there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It had that same feeling for me too. You know, I was driving and we rolled up and we get off this road similar to Landmand and you pull off, actually, especially with Landmand, you pull off, you're on this gravel road and you're like, why did I fly here? What's going on? And what am I doing? Yeah. And, I mean, you finally pull over past this hill and then roll up the hill and you start to see it out of the right passenger window and you're like, holy crap, this place is so pure. And, you know, it was unbelievable. Had that new feel. I agree with Kyle and kind of had, you know, we met some members that day, which I'm sure we'll get into, which was a blast. And, you know, the staff was incredible. The golf course was incredible. Shout out Scott Hoffman, designer, architect of the golf course. Truly did an unbelievable job. I mean, the wind was blowing a little bit. You know, the pro was like, the wind's not blowing that much. And so we played one tee up again and, it was a test. It was absolutely a test. The greens were rolling. There's not a blade of grass out of place. Every time we rolled into a fairway, we would drive into the fairway. And I was driving, I looked at Kyle and I said, I kind of feel bad about driving in this fairway, to be honest. You know, it's like, this isn't the kind of place you can take your shoes off, but I really want to take my shoes off and just feel the grass. I mean, truly an unbelievable spot. And they're doing it right up there.
Oh, I remember like right when we were getting ready to go to the range, and you mentioned the pro. Shout out Ty Stewart, incredible host. I think we had him kind of on edge. I'm not sure he was good with us being there, but we behaved. They do have a short course at Lost Rail that you can just play as much as you want. And they mentioned that to us, and the four of us collectively looked at one another and were like, do you realize that we're all degenerates and that you will have to like literally kick us off this golf course if you say we can play all day long? But it was great. So I remember we get up to the putting green and I just drop a couple golf balls like on an area that I think is relatively flat, and they just zip away from me. And I remember looking at all of y'all and being like, oh my word, this is not Landmand. Like this is different. But yeah, it was great. The greens were fantastic. We did get put on the clock, which was not the best. But yeah, fantastic golf course, a lot of fun. Kyle, how many cups of gummy bears did you get from that incredible halfway house?
Yeah, I've been telling so many people about this halfway house with the free gummy bears. And when he said that I could just take as many as I wanted, I was like, the match is over. It's over. I think I got back in the car and I was like, they're done. I mean, we were down probably 3 at that point.
You are.
No, like, I mean, maybe before we got put on the clock, but after that, it was over. I mean, you give me a couple gummy bears and Diet Cokes and it's over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the halfway house setup at Lost Rail is second to none. I mean, truly an unbelievable place. The golf course in general, but walking into the halfway house and having anything and everything you need. I think I got a club wrap, gummy bears, M&Ms, some adult libations. It was truly unbelievable.
And then we end up in the bar in the clubhouse. And Lost Rail does not host member events. And because of that, some members decided to put on their own member guest. So that was part of the reason Mr. Ty Stewart, the fantastic pro there at Lost Rail, was a little on edge, because he had that going on, basically an unsanctioned event. And he had 4 yahoos from the Southeast wanting to play his golf course and just hang out. So he was a little on edge, but we got to meet the staff. We were basically rock stars. And then we met our friend Kevin. What his name? Kevin? I believe it was Kevin. Wasn't it Kevin?
Yeah.
It was Kevin. Who was insistent on us coming and joining us at his bar for a drink afterwards. He was talking about how great the staff was. He was like, "You guys have to come. You have to come." And this guy had a few beverages himself, but was just on us and on us and on us. And like even followed us out of the parking lot. It was like, "All right, you guys are coming, right? You guys are coming." And we all kind of looked at each other like, "No, we can't do that." And I don't remember who it was. It was like, "Let's just swing." It might have been Will.
It was 100% Will.
He was like, "Let's just go in and me," and he's talking about myself, Decker. He's like, "Me and Josh will just run in and grab a beer real quick and then we'll walk out." So we pull into this random bar outside of Omaha. And there is no way to see into this establishment. The windows are completely covered, and so you walk in there and it's not a strip club. It's just a really, really dark bar. And I think Will and I are just going in there to grab a drink, and then the door opens up and you two come in. And what, an hour and a half later we leave?
Yeah.
Easy. I think we looked at each other and we were like, one beer. I think you and Kyle all said this because, shout out Coach Robbins. He was like, "I feel bad. We need to go." I was like, "Okay, fine." We pull up and me and Kyle look at each other. And I think you two, Declan, were like, "We're not going in." And then we pulled up and we were like, "I got to see what this Office Park bar is all about."
Right. Because it was in a strip. It was like right next to a car wash.
And a Starbucks.
Yeah, but Kevin loved it. The staff, again, we were treated like royalty because people were wondering why we were playing Lost Rail while we were at their golf course, and it was a lot of fun. And then we ended up at one of the nicest hotels in Omaha, splitting a couple tomahawk steaks and a few bottles of Cabernet, and really enjoyed a fantastic trip to Omaha, hitting some great courses. So let's close off on that trip and move to the most recent adventure we went on. Which started out as just a Sweetens Cove roadshow, which for the listeners, if you have not attended a Sweetens Cove roadshow, highly, highly suggest it. It is everything that Sweetens Cove is at its own property, but taken somewhere else. And the one that we attended was Tot Hill Farm and Mike Strantz, right outside of Greensboro, Pinehurst. It's kind of I feel like everywhere is kind of in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina. But as we were talking about that at the roadshow last year at Pinehurst, we met one of the pros there, and he's like, "Hey, come out and I'll help get you guys on potentially number 10." And we all the guys right here on the pod with us, we coordinated an Airbnb, kind of figured that out. We got into like midnight, I think, is when we finally figured out which actual condo it was that was right on number 3 at Pinehurst.
In the rain.
In the rain. Yeah, in the rain. I think you passed a few thousand deer on your drive from Atlanta to Pinehurst. You did stop in Charlotte at a Longhorn. Not this one, but the one in Charlotte, which we'll get to that in just a second. But we wake up, we go grab breakfast, meet Alex Sinke, fantastic pro at number 9 at Pinehurst right now. We go play the Cradle, and then we go to number 10. What did you guys think about number 10?
Well, first off, I think we have to go back that we started off in the pro shop. Well, we have to start there.
We did
got there a little bit early. We had to go to the pro shop, so we started in the pro shop. It's fabulous merch. The logo is fantastic. I mean, they killed it. So we're just walking around, and we're still undefeated in the sunlight at this point on regulation golf courses. And and so I look over and I see this polo, and I'm like, Bobby, I love this polo. And he's like, dang, I do too. And I just look at him right in the eyeballs, and I'm just like, we should both buy these and go change into them right now. And I said that half joking, and this man took it and just completely ran with it and was like, no, we're 100% doing that.
So from additional context here, so AJ and Kyle were going to play against myself and Alex on number 10. So they decided to be really cute and match in their attire for the match itself. It was like two little boys taking school pictures. It was great.
Yeah, I've been telling people the story of like us getting our caddies, and I could just imagine like the caddies were like, I don't want those two.
Right.
Anybody but those two. But boy, they picked the right ones because they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and you're right about the pro shop. The pro shop at number 10, and just the logo, you can see it over my shoulder. It's so good. It's fantastic. Number 10 is probably a 15-minute drive from Pinehurst number 2, the main Pinehurst property. And you feel like you're kind of, you're in a different piece of the property entirely, like a different city. No homes on it. Very, very different experience than just like the main Pinehurst resort area where there's so many people.
Yeah, truly. I mean, number 10 was an unbelievable experience. I mean, we got out there, and it was misting a little bit, and it was so good when you got there that you weren't even thinking about the rain. You were like, it's one of those, like when you and your boys, you listen and going on a golf trip, doesn't matter. Like when I have a golf trip planned out for a long time, I can care less what the weather is. If the golf course is open, you're playing golf. And it just misted, which was fantastic. And truly, honestly, for those who are listening that have been in Pinehurst, in my opinion, I don't know what these other two would say, it was better for me than it being 105 degrees, no rain. I mean, it was just misting. We all got hit some really fun golf shots throughout the day, and some spots that we probably didn't love that we were in. I'll speak for myself there, but it was truly unbelievable. I mean, the course, starting at the pro shop, the hospitality from Alex, shout out Mr. Henneke, really, really an unbelievable time all around.
Kyle, what was your main takeaway from number 10?
It was familiar, but it also just felt like fun. It was just like you said, it was a fun shot after fun shot. And then, there's the mounds. I mean, number 8, fantastic hole. The back 9, I felt like it finished strong. There's a couple tee shots on the back 9. Yeah. I mean, it felt like you had to hit some shots coming in, and I mean, the match was a little tight. We played, so that always makes it more fun, and it makes you really lock in. But Yeah, it's a fun course, but challenging. I really want to see it when my ball doesn't stop when it hits the ground because it made it for a really long day. And as we've already proclaimed, we don't hit it very far. So I want to play it again, 100, maybe probably 100 more times. But yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun course.
That was my main takeaway, was the playability of it. I didn't lose a golf ball, and I'm a 9.1 handicap, and so I'll spray it somewhere, and there's all these like areas that look like forests, but it's really, really tiny pine trees, and it's well mown and manicured. So your golf ball is going to be, you're going to be able to find it. Now you're hitting through 400 pine trees in front of you. So it's probably going to come right back at your feet like it did to me on that par 5, and that's fine. Cause we're just out there to have a great time and enjoy the company and and play some golf. But yeah, the greens and just kind of the par 3s out there I thought were great. But I love that you can hit it pretty much anywhere, and most resort courses feel that way, but this didn't feel like a resort course. It still felt like a true test, but you weren't just dead if you hit it somewhere out of the short grass.
Yeah, completely agreed. I mean, the you know, like kind of had, you know, like you just said, Decker, that you roll up and you're like, it's so well manicured. More so the resort course feel because it's so well manicured, but did not feel like a resort course. And the had the same feel of all the Pinehurst courses of the, you know, hazards all over the place. There was a couple holes where, not proud to say, I didn't hit it that well, but you still had an opportunity after you hit it not great, to get to a place where you were happy with. So truly, you know, an unbelievable spot, honestly, even in the rain. We played a
So the name of this podcast is Off the Deck, and I would be remiss if I did not mention your DOD on that par 5 when I was in position A1, and I don't know what number you had in or what the wind was doing or what even, yeah. And the shot you hit, I was like, okay, I'm fine with him calling himself the Dodfather, because you hit it, what was it, 240 probably? And it was out of the junk too. It wasn't like you were in the center of the fairway sitting on a tee. You were in the trash, and he pulls the largest head cover in his bag and absolutely smokes this driver. And it's, I guess, not off the deck. It's, so maybe it's not applicable. And hits it to what, like 15 feet, and had that for eagle.
Yeah, it was about 15 feet. It was truly an unbelievable golf shot. I mean, we had my partner had freed me up, and I looked at him and said, I'm gonna hit this. And he was like, I'm good with that, go. So we went and we did it.
Yeah, there's something always a beauty of when he hits a driver off the deck and you're standing right there next to him, because after he hits it, and if he hits it really good, which happens most of the time, he just takes the club face and just shoves it in your face. And he's like, look at it. Look at it. I mean, every time he just wants you to see the beauty of it. He's like, purity, man.
I love that. I love that.
It's
Yeah,
so
it ended
good.
up being a good match. Of course, like you have already referred to, you were still undefeated in the sunlight. You failed to go ahead and cover the fact that you lost to me and Alex on the cradle, but that's fine. That's
We said regulation.
Yeah, regulation.
Okay. Okay. So we wrap up at number 10, and it's getting kind of late, and Kyle and I have heard all about how great Longhorn Steakhouse is from AJ, and AJ is well-traveled, there's no telling how many countries you've been to, places you've eaten. I'm sure there's multiple Michelin star restaurants where you've dined. And we are getting a full-blown speech on how great Longhorn Steakhouse is, to the point that Kyle and I are convinced that this is a bit.
Not a bit.
100%.
And it's not a bit. It's not a bit at all. We are trying to find just pizza to order to just go back to our Airbnb to kick off our shoes, because we have 36 holes at Tot Hill Farm the next morning. And we're trying to find pizza places. Pizza places are closed because it's a Thursday night in Pinehurst, which is just kind of weird. And I think we had found somewhere where we were going to go, go get pizza that may have been open, or like just get takeout or something. And Kyle goes, "Is there a Longhorn nearby?" I think it was Kyle that said it. And so sure enough, I pull up my app because AJ's driving, and there is a Longhorn 0.2 miles away. And I've never seen a Ford Raptor take a right-hand turn so fast as it whipped into this shopping center parking lot and came to a screeching halt in this Longhorn Steakhouse parking lot.
Yeah.
And we're not going for steak. We're going because we want chicken tendies. So AJ, please tell us about Longhorn.
Yeah, I mean, Longhorn, it's hard to explain. But man, it is similar to if you're listening, you've been to a Michelin star restaurant, you've been to a nice steakhouse in, Birmingham, Atlanta, Huntsville, wherever you live, it is the same to me. It is A1 food at an A1 price. The best part about it is, let me tell you what to order. And let's get real tight in here. And you listen to me, because you can't see all of me, but I'm not a small fella. The best part about Longhorn is the best meal at Longhorn is the chicken tenders. Now, I'll tell you, I'm a Cane's guy. Love Cane's, think Cane's is great. Shout out Popeyes, shout out other chicken places. Love them. God's Chicken, Chick-fil-A, shout out. But the chicken tenders at Longhorn are the best in the country, and it's not close. When we figured out there was a Longhorn close, we turned that vehicle faster, like Decker said, than I've ever turned any vehicle in my life. And we grubbed down, the service, incredible. The ownership, incredible. I mean, from top to bottom, the atmosphere is unbelievable. The honey mustard, best in town. The ranch, homemade in Longhorn, house made, if you will. Just truly so good. The appetizers. I mean, I'm talking about 9 tendies, a salad, and a loaf of bread, and maybe a cocktail for $22.
Okay, now you have to talk about the long drink. Tell us about the long drink. What is the long drink?
The long drink / long pour is truly it's the best deal in America. I have never seen a deal that's better than this. You get a cocktail, you get a large glass. Well, we'll call it 18, 24 ounces. They bring it out, and then they also bring out a shaker full of the drink. By the way, it's $2 more. And it's truly, it's like 60 ounces of cocktail for either $14.99. You buy your cocktail, or you know what? Hey, let's do it for $16.99. We'll get you a long pour. Shout out Longhorn, best restaurant in America. Wouldn't even call it fast casual. They don't have white tablecloths, but I live in Atlanta. We love Chops. We love Howes. We love these places. Longhorn's better. Don't know what to tell you. Argue with the wall.
I can think of no better way to then turn the page from Pinehurst number 10 to Tot Hill Farm. So like I mentioned earlier, Tot Hill Farm was a Sweetens Cove roadshow. So Sweetens Cove had taken over Tot Hill for the day. 36 holes, double pins, as you typically have whenever you play Sweetens Cove. An incredible amount of swag. Unfortunately for us, we got a tremendous amount of rain the night before, which playing a Mike Strantz course, cart path only, wouldn't recommend. So that presented some challenges. But guys, Tot Hill Farm, first thing that comes to mind when I say Tot Hill Farm, what do you think?
Tobacco Road. I mean, it's so similar. It feels that way, just being, not too far down the road. I mean, the main thing with the roadshow that just blows my mind is like how quickly, once everybody gets there from Sweetens and you have the true Sweetens experience, that it feels like we're just at Sweetens, just at a different course, and it's our golf course for the day. We'll go play whatever we want. We'll respect the course, but we're gonna play it 10 some. We're gonna do the crazy games. We're gonna, walk in front of each other. We're gonna do it all. And it's so weird how quickly your mind turns into that style and that mindset of, wait a minute, we are at Sweetens, but this is actually Tot Hill.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Strands courses are some of, if not my favorite of all time. Tobacco Road, truly unbelievable. Got to play it if you never have. Worth a trip, honestly, no matter where you are in the country listening. Flying out and just playing one round at Tobacco, going to road.
You hold on. So you really love them that much?
Absolutely. Tobacco Road, Tot Hill, Monterey Peninsula, Bowls, which I believe Monterey Peninsula was his last project while he was sick, unfortunately. And then Bulls Bay, he had built a large ranch at Bulls Bay, which is in Andawa, South Carolina, I believe. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but about 45 to an hour and 15 minutes north of Charleston, South Carolina. Truly one of my favorite golf courses of all time. All of them. He just had a mind that I have not seen in any other of the, giants, if you will, the Goliaths of architect and golf. Because he puts bunkers in places that, not necessarily other people are putting bunkers in when they redo courses, where they're thinking about the guys playing from the tips or one up. And there's a bunker here for the guy that is hitting it perfectly, which, for some people, that works. For me, I'll only speak for me, but, if I'm hitting it a little offline here, like maybe Mike Strands did, there's a bunker there. And guess what? You just took a 394-yard par 4, and congratulations, you made a triple on it because you hit it into this bunker, and now you have to hit it twice out of the hazard, because most of his golf courses are hazards, which is just such another fantastic addition to the Strands courses, like Rob did at Sweetens.
Yeah, it was. I especially loved the clubhouse being that house. It was a really cool experience. The changes in elevation, and that's one of the cool things. If you've never played a Mike Strands, like AJ was saying, you can stand on a tee box and you're like, I don't have a clue which direction this hole goes. And there are a lot of people that don't care for that kind of golf. Personally, I love it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit it and figure it out. And there are clearly spots, and I've said this about Tobacco Road. I don't know necessarily that Tot Hill Farm kind of fit the same mold, but at Tobacco, on every tee box, you could hit driver or 6-iron. I feel like Tot Hill was more specific to the kind of tee shot you needed to hit. But yeah, it was the par threes were great. The one that had all the rocks and creek and everything. I don't remember which hole that was because of how the road shows start. You might start on a different hole than just number one. So my orientation about where I started and where I finished a little different than usual. There is a format typically for the road shows, which led to an interesting interaction with people we were playing with. We thought you just played 18 holes, and your 18-hole score with a blind draw is who you got paired with, and whoever had the low there is who won the road show. And so we finished our 18, and we're like, hey, let's do were we doing 6v6 or was it 3v3? I think it was 6v6, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
So we were doing 6v6, and it was we're doing shamble 2 best balls in, which was fantastic. And we're like 4 or 5 holes in. I think one team's like maybe one down or one, and there's not any real blood. And then we find out, oh, you're actually supposed to play all 36 to determine who wins this thing, which then it ended up breaking up our group. And not that vibes were killed, but it was kind of like, oh, okay. But highly suggest getting out to Tot Hill Farm if you ever have an opportunity. Also Tobacco Road, which hosted a road show last year, had a great time. The fun thing about the rest of this trip, AJ had driven from Atlanta. So later in the evening or afternoon, he looked at us and was like, "Hey guys, I'm heading out. It's time for me to just get back. I had to get home for a wedding." And Kyle and I didn't have anywhere to stay. And I was just going to book a Hampton Inn or something where we could crash before we flew home the next morning. And one of the guys that we know who was attending the roadshow out of Chattanooga, Jeff Collier, had booked a Marriott cabin. And I did not know that Marriott cabins existed. Kyle, what did you think about the Marriott cabin?
Yeah, Jeff walks up and I was saying, like, I don't have a place to stay tonight. And he goes, well, the funny thing is, I booked this trailer. It's got 2 queen beds in it, and you can stay there. And I looked at him like he had 4 eyes, and I was like, what do you mean? He goes, oh, no, I got it on the Marriott app. And I was like, oh, man. So I came up to you and I was like, Jeff's got this trailer. It's got 2 queen beds. He got it off the Marriott app. And then you looked at me like I had 10 eyes. And you had to you had to go talk to him yourself. But I mean, we drove in the middle of the night to this middle of nowhere spot. I mean, we whined through all these campsites. It turned out to be like a campsite. And I'm telling you, it was the smallest place I've ever seen 4 guys sleeping in a trailer. Because not to mention, another guy didn't have a place to stay, so he joined with us.
Yeah, shout out Scott Young for crashing with us also. So real talk, this cabin might have been 10 feet wide and 20 feet long.
No,
does that seem about right?
20. Not even 20.
Not even 20. I did notice when we were getting up the next morning that there was not a mirror anywhere to be found. So the 4 of us all bunked up in 2 queen beds, and that's the beauty of these kind of golf trips, right? You never know where you're going to end up, where you're going to end up staying, who you're going to be sleeping beside or with. But it turned out to be a lot of fun. Pinehurst was obviously incredibly special, and then getting to see a lot of people that we love to hang out with at Tot Hill Farm was always great. If there is something that stands out from the 4 golf courses, it can be a memory, it can be a golf shot, anything you can think of that, like, when you're reflecting on those 4 days, what is something that stands out to you the most?
I'm going to go with a quote, and it's probably my favorite quote of all time. I've just referred to it probably 100 times since this day. But me and Poppy are playing alt shot, and when we get in the groove, there's no stopping us. And at one point, the people we were playing against, we hit our tee shots. We probably hit them both right down the middle. We get to pick whichever one we want, and we just start dancing to the music again. And our opponent just looks at the other one and says, they're dancing on us, size. and that just summed up the whole day. It's my favorite moment I've probably had in so long. It accumulated all of the whole day of just the vibes and how much fun we were having. And I think so fondly back on that moment.
So shout out to Chris Sizemore and Scott Wilder. They were 2 guys that joined us at Landmand for 7-Eleven. 2 phenomenal human beings. Have known those guys for, probably 10 years, and big fans of them. But yeah, I've heard you repeat that a couple times, and I giggle when I actually ran into Sizemore at lunch this week. And I walked out and I was like, oh, they're dancing on his side. AJ, what was your memory?
Honestly, I would probably have to agree with that. I mean, me and Kyle, soon, merch is coming soon. We're working on a logo. And absolutely nothing against, Chris Sizemore or Scott Water, both shout out, fantastic human beings, so much fun to be around, just awesome guys to hang out with and play golf with. But when we had both hit our shots, I believe I went first, and then Kyle went after me, and he looked at me, and we both enjoy a little rap music, if you will. And we were just sitting there grooving, and when Wilder looked at Sizemore and said, they're dancing on a size. I mean, it was an unbelievable experience. I think other than that, the biggest thing that stood out to me truly was Landmand. I mean, I'm telling you right now, very similar process to Sweetens Cove of putting tee times out. They get booked out in an instant. take your boys to Landmand. I would, when I got home, I told my wife, I said, should we move to Omaha, Nebraska? Well, I mean, the place is out of this world. One of my favorite, if not my favorite golf course I've ever played. I mean, the place is truly unbelievable. You have to get up there. It's so vast. And you can play it, thousands of times. The first time I played it, I played really well. Second time I played it, didn't play as great, but would have enjoyed it. And truly, I'm a 8 handicap, 7 handicap, would have loved it if I shot 110. It's just that kind of place that creates memories with whoever you're with, whether you go up there as a solo or whether you go up there with 16 guys. An unbelievable experience. Lost Rail is a great add-on, and if you are making it out to Pinehurst, which for a lot of you southeastern guys is a close drive, make sure you play number 10 because the golf course is unbelievable.
So I have so many memories, but because I mentioned earlier on tonight when we sat down at Longhorn, and you were raving about the place to our server, you were like, "Yeah, I ate here last night," and she's like, "You did? You ate here last night?" And you go, "No, the one in Charlotte." And that's something like we had incredibly fortunate to be able to go on the trips we went on. Landmand is always great. Like just to reiterate what AJ said, as soon as you can get up top to Landmand, get there. Sam and the guys, they do an unbelievable job. Their staff's fantastic, and it is a golf course that once you lay eyes on for the first time, it'll blow your mind. Lost Rail was so special, so fun. Really hope we're allowed back there. I'm not sure if we are or aren't. I think we probably are.
So.
But remains to be seen. Pinehurst number 10 in the Cradle. Shout out Alex Hinkie. Was so good. The Cradle, just the Cradle alone. I mean, I would almost drive to Pinehurst if I'm playing somewhere else just to play the Cradle, because you grab a little Sunday bag, couple wedges, grab a transfusion and go. And then Tot Hill Farm was a tremendous experience on the Sweetens Cove roadshow. Guys, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you for remembering all the things and the crazy stuff that we did and how much fun we had. This has been a lot of fun to record. So thank you both for coming on.
Of course.
For sure, brother.
Yeah. So for AJ and for Kyle, I'm Josh. Well, hold on. We have I know one of your answers because AJ, you of course hit it off the deck. Kyle, you have more head covers in your golf bag than anybody else in the United States, but I've never seen you hit it off the deck. So that's one question we have to ask. Do you actually ever hit it off the deck?
I can. I just choose not to.
Because you're going to pull a 3-wood or a 5-wood or a 7-wood or a 9-wood,
9-wood,
11-wood.
You never know. Yeah, it's all advertising. You never know.
Oh, boys, this has been a blast. Thank y'all for coming on. Have a good evening.